What is going on, guys? Today I kind of wanted to cover something that I get asked about all the time, which is mixing. And today I want to cover volume control and how to properly EQ a beat. These are the most important steps when starting to mix a new beat. So we're going to get into FL Studio. As you can see, I have something already pre-made. I haven't messed with any volumes. I haven't assigned anything to any tracks or to the mixer. So I'm actually going to turn this down just a little bit just because everything's so loud. I don't want to buzz people's speakers, but as you can see, I haven't done anything yet. So let's get into mixing this and getting volume controls down. So what I'm going to do is I just hold control and just click. It'll highlight all of them. Come up here to your mixer track, right click on insert one, channel routing, and route selected channels starting from this track. It'll go ahead and it'll put everything on board here. So the first thing we want to do is volume control. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with that. I'm going to keep it kind of down. So as you can see, we are clipping in some places. So we're going to start off with the melodies. I want the piano to kind of be the, kind of the main. So I'm going to take the pad down just, a little bit lower than what the piano would be. Always want your open hi-hats to sit lower than your closed hi-hats. As you can see, we're still peaking. What I'm gonna do is add a fruity limiter to this, and this will go ahead and get it at 0 dB. And already we're kind of getting a better sound where we can hear everything. That's the whole goal with volume control. You just really kind of got to use your ear. Every beat is mixed differently. Nothing is mixed the same, depending on your instruments that you're using and stuff like that. A lot of the drums I'm using is from one of my my Tony Montana kit. Find that at ygsounds.com. So yeah, let's get into EQing a little bit. We're gonna start off with the piano. I'm going to pull up the Fruity Parametric EQ2. And the first thing I like to do is cut out all the lows in the melodies and stuff. So we're going to watch it. I know there's a lot of people that like to cut out lows. They like to shelf it. Sounds good about right there. Basically, you're wanting to cut out the lows so you can save the lower frequencies for your 808s and your kick. Same thing with the pad. Presets 20 hertz plus 18 hertz cut. A lot of people don't know this, but there is definitely low frequencies in snares and hi-hats. I actually figured this out back in the day when I was in one of my buddy's cars. He has like a nice car system, like speakers, and I could hear the bass in the snare. And that's when I started figuring out that I need to start EQing my snares and my hi-hats as well. You can hear the bass in the hi-hats. So yeah. And sometimes with my snares, I like to capture certain frequencies. So for example, on this one, I want to boost that low mid-range right there on this snare because it's such a nice crisp snare. Sometimes I'll boost the high just a hair. Same thing with hi-hats. You can faintly see it, but there are lows in this hi-hat. And what I like to do with my hi-hats too is I'll take the this frequency here and I'll just kind of roll it down just a hair. So because you got to think, like, when somebody's playing a beat, you want it to sound good in cars, you want it to sound good in, you know, a venue or someone's system that has tweeters and stuff like that. So sometimes these hi-hats, they have this really piercing high. So I've gotten to the habit of to where I just roll it off just a little bit. That also saves room for the higher frequencies in the pad and the piano. Basically what we're doing with EQing is we're creating room for everything. If everything's fighting for position, for example, if your piano's got really low stuff or your beat has all these lows in it from your snares, hi-hats, pianos, pad and stuff like that, when your 808s and kicks hit, they're fighting for space. It's like cramming a bunch of people in an elevator. Everybody's gonna be fighting for space. It's uncomfortable. You got to look at it that way as well when you're EQing something. It becomes very muddy. You can't really hear everything. It becomes distorted. So this is essentially what you're doing with EQing is you are making space for each instrument. Now we can start mixing in the kick. What I like to do for my kicks is I kind of like to roll off the very low end sub. And then I'll boost it at about the 100, about 75 range. And then I'll cut out some of the highs as well. Just makes it a little bit more punchier. I'm going to show you a pretty cool tip, because a lot of times, a lot of people listen to my beats on their cell phones when they're on the go, and stuff like that. So what I like to do is I'll pull up another parametric EQ on the master, and I will actually drag the low end to about 500, and then I'll drag this to about, let's say, what is this, around 5K, well under 5K. So basically what this does is it creates a frequency range of a cell phone, basically smaller speakers. So I'll sit here and I'll adjust on this. And this is another good way to kind of see, okay, what you want to ask yourself, what can I hear, what I can't hear? I hear a little bit too much piano and pad, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. And I can hear everything. Usually I would do that on my speakers versus my headphones. And of course, when mixing, you want to go back and forth between your speakers and your headphones. You can also start mixing at a quieter volume. I used to do this all the time, where I would turn the volume down real low. So that way, same thing applies with what I just did with the parametric EQ. You want to be able to hear everything at a low volume and a high volume. And I'll go back and forth from this. I will mix low in my headphones, then I'll adjust on my speakers, then I'll go back to my headphones and turn it up, adjust on my headphones, and listen on my speakers, adjust on my speakers. Then I'll do the cell phone technique and kind of adjust back and forth until you find a good happy medium. And then of course, we'll go to the car, test it out in the car, or a Bluetooth speaker, a cell phone, a little bit of everything. You really just want to try it all out on every bit of speaker you can. And already, I mean, as you can see, we used no plugins. This was just strictly volume control and EQing, and we already have a decent sounding beat. Everybody thinks that you have to do all this crazy stuff when mixing your beats, when in reality, good quality samples and VSTs, of course, volume control and proper EQing, and you can get a good sounding beat that's ready to be recorded on or sent out. I want to thank you guys for checking out this tutorial. If this helped you, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell so that way you get notified every time I post something new. If you want me to cover something, a tutorial, or something along the lines of business-wise in the music industry, let me know down in the comments below what you want me to cover. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I hope I see you guys on the next video.